whether that's, athletics, is that art, science, fashion? Yeah, go ahead. Architect, did you say architecture? Oh, okay, very cool. That's amazing. Yeah, go ahead. Modeling? Yeah, absolutely. Say that again? A doctor, amazing. Yeah, real estate. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Okay, really, really good. Engineer, okay. Veterinarian, wow. Have any of you felt that you have maybe doubted yourself and your capability of doing these things? And think, yeah, I have. Yeah. And so that is normal. That is all part of it. So as someone who doesn't have a formal education, right, which means that I didn't graduate university with a degree, I would sometimes question, am I smart enough, or how do I get to where I want to be? So I think that's the biggest question that we have, is that I have these goals, I have these passions, but really, how do I get to where I want to really be in life? And so it all starts, I think, with really understanding, again, what it means to emotionally regulate. Has anyone heard of that before? Emotionally regulate? No? So this is when you really understand your emotions and what they mean. And just with your emotions, when you get frustrated, when you get angry, when you look at, why can't I change, or why isn't something happening? If you can really see those emotions as an opportunity to change them with something that will better yourselves, that's always really, really good. Do you remember when you first, I guess, had these dreams? Were they always with you, maybe in school, or did you recently kind of find out these are some of the interests that you have? Yeah, go ahead. Okay, very cool. And so was that from being at St. David's, from seeing teachers, or? Yeah, so you all have the capability. You're more than capable of doing all of these things and more. And the thing is, learning is continuous. We never want to stop learning. We always want to be open to learning something new. There are certain points in my life when I didn't have a lot of money at all, and I was like, am I ever going to get to a place where I'm financially stable? And it felt like some days that I just wasn't. So this is totally normal, but what you're really doing is you're really thinking about, what would it be like to experience or be that person, be that doctor, be that musician. So this is really good because you're contemplating what your life would be like. And so always do that. Always imagine the things that you think you need to be or need to do to be that person and achieve that passion. Because that's really when we start to feel, what would it be like to be a real estate agent and to travel and to be an engineer, right? Or to be a veterinarian or a doctor. And when we start doing that, this changes the way that we behave. So have any of you ever noticed that, let's say when you're writing a test or an exam, if you come into the classroom and you are frustrated, you're tired, you feel like, I can't do this, that when you're doing the test, it's very different when you've come in and you feel, I'm ready, I'm really ready. There's a difference, right? So just remember this when you're thinking about your passions, that you don't need to feel frustrated or think of, how am I going to get there? Don't get too caught up with, how am I going to get there? Because things are unpredictable in life. You won't know how. You won't know exactly how, and that is a good thing. Because the brain, we really learn when there are mistakes and there are surprises. So the more that you can think about, who do I want to be and what would that real estate agent look like? How am I going to be when I'm traveling, or being a doctor, musician, lawyer, right, teacher, veterinarian? Keep thinking that, keep that alive. It'll definitely happen, and just know that you do have resources here, right? So you can reach out to any adult in high school, in grade 7, grade 8, and in high school. And there are, if you're interested in being connected to some services in Sudbury, there are a lot of services that can really help you girls and bring you out into the community as well, and get a feel for what it would really, really be like, or find what you want to do. When I was young, I did not like to talk. I hated talking. I was very shy, which surprises people today, but people would call me, a little church mouse, which I did not like that at all, because I thought, no, I'm not actually that shy, you just don't really know me. So I hated talking. I would rather just not say anything at all, but then I got into sales. And in sales, what I used to do is I used to sell credit cards in Canadian Tire. So I would go to the Canadian Tire store with a team, and we would have to, people walking in, I would have to go up to them, make them want to talk to me, and then try to sell them a credit card that they might have needed or really not needed. So this caused me to really come out of my shell. It was very uncomfortable, and I messed up a lot. Some people were very dismissive and said, no, I'm not interested. But it just caused me to really learn how to speak and communicate to people, and realizing that I actually do really like sales. I am a people person. So then when I had another sales job, what I would do is I would do cold calls. Do you ladies know what cold calls are? So this is in sales, when you're trying to get someone to buy something from you, and you basically walk into a building and they've not met you before. So you're just walking in there, and again, you go to the front desk, you ask the secretary, can I speak to, the manager of the business? So I would go in there as a 21-year-old young girl, not a lot of experience. I'd have to talk to these people that might not really want to talk to me. There was in one case when I was in Calgary in Alberta, and I was doing cold calls, and I walked into this building, and there was a big office. So there were tons of cubicles and everything. And I was approaching this man who was at the very front. And I just went up to him and walked up to him and said, hi, my name is Lorelei. I'm just looking to speak with you about a few things. And I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he looked at me and he didn't even shake my hand. So I thought, oh my gosh, okay, this is really scary. And then everyone in the office, it was open like this. They all just stopped and looked at me. And so I thought, okay, now I'm gonna have to just say what I wanna say. This feels really embarrassing. I felt really embarrassed, to be honest. But what I did do is I delivered what I needed to say. I was like, I don't care, I'm gonna say what I wanna say. And eventually I did get him to smile, and he did direct me to someone else to speak with. So don't be afraid of feeling silly, of feeling clunky. Whenever we do something new, it always can feel this way, where everyone's afraid of looking bad, right? But this is all about learning. And the more I would do things like this, I would reflect back, I would think about elementary school, and I'd think about high school, and I wish I would have participated more. I wish I would have been okay putting my hand up more, or not being scared when the teacher called on me, which is also totally normal if you don't have the answer, because there's so much that comes from that, so much learning. So has anyone else felt like when you've wanted to change or do something that you're like, I'm gonna start tomorrow. I'm gonna start this tomorrow, whether that's studying something or doing something new. Has anyone felt that? Yeah. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges that I had, is that I was going throughout elementary school and high school, and I would not give my best. I would do things not as my full potential, and that's okay. But when it comes to habits, just remember that habits shape your life, and that it's very important to start looking at why you need to develop good habits, because the habits that we have, that's who we are. And a habit is something, right, that when we do something so many times that it's automatic, that we don't even think about it. So in elementary school, I would sometimes say, I'll do better tomorrow. Or I'm gonna have my future self, I'm gonna rely on my future self to really do that much better. But even though you're graduating, just remember that your habits graduate with you. Ladies, we have to wrap up. This was so amazing for me to get to know you, our upcoming leaders and incredible women, ladies in Sudbury. So just remember that you are all worthy and you are all perfect. And if you want to change in your life, just remember, nothing changes in your life until you change. Nothing changes until you change, and that shows how powerful you are. Once you change, you'll see a change in your world. Thank you. Thank you.